Hey friends, welcome to Filled at Home. I'm Ashley. I'm really excited for you to join me on today's tutorial. We're going to be making beautiful botanical leaf impression ornaments with gold leaf. They're going to be fun, simple for you to do at home. You can even do them with your family members. Your kids can join in with you, or you can do them yourself. Something fun to do this time of the year that you could make for friends and family, or you could just make it for yourself to enhance your tree with a unique ornament. I'm just going to be using some air dry clay, a rolling pin, some simple tools that you probably already have at your home, and then some gold leaf. And that's going to give it this little pop of color and beauty. And then I finished it off with some yarn and some beads. So stay tuned with me today as I will take you through this tutorial. Okay, so you're first going to begin by going outside. Just take a little walk, get in nature, and find some interesting things that look like they'd be great for doing leaf impressions. I got some pine needles, some yarrow, and just some random branches that I found outside that look like they'd be interesting. And then I'm going to get out my air dry clay here and start rolling it out and working out any air bubbles that could be in it. And this process here is called wedging. So you're just gonna, if you're familiar with kneading dough from baking, you're basically going to just push the dough or the clay down here and wedge and then pull it back and push again, push and pull. Okay, so here's my wood block. I just found this in my basement, but I did find that working on wood is the best surface for doing this. It becomes non-stick. It's easy for getting your clay off of the surface. For this part, you're going to need a cup or even a cookie cutter. Mine is about a 3.5 inch diameter. Something similar would be great. I'm just going to cut out a bunch of circles on the surface that I rolled out and then take away the excess. It should come off pretty easily on this wood. Okay, and now we're going to get started with the botanical impressions. Now comes the fun part about doing the impressions. So I have my leaf here, which is just pine needles, and I'm just using a rolling pin. I'm pressing very, very lightly. You really don't need to press hard at all. You need to actually be careful not to press it too hard because you don't want to deform the clay discs that you made. So I'm just doing this on a few different ones, and then I'm going to use some different botanicals that I found outside. I don't really know what these are, but they looked really interesting, very earthy. So I'm impressing those into it as well, and it just creates these beautiful designs and impressions into the clay. Okay, so for this part, you're going to need a cookie sheet lined with some parchment paper. And just very carefully take your discs off of your cutting board or your wood block and put them on the cookie sheet. You're also going to need some sort of paintbrush. We're going to be poking holes in these so that we can later put our twine through that. Make sure you have a good size hole. Make sure it makes it through the entire thing. Now you're going to need a cup of water and just go around the edges and smooth out any edges that may be jagged, smooth out any surfaces that need to be smoothed. Okay, so I have all of them here. They've actually dried for a little bit now, so I feel like I can handle them pretty well. I'm just going to take some 150 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to rub around the back, try to smooth out any edges that maybe they didn't get as smooth as I wanted them to be, just kind of even things out overall. I also had noticed that some of the dirt from the wood of the cutting board got on it, so I'm just kind of getting any debris off of there. I'm going around the edges, I'm going around the back. Anything that looks like you need to smooth it out, just go ahead and touch up any areas like that. Right now there's some little lines on the back as well. Now I'm not looking to make these super perfect. I don't really have all the tools necessary to do that. These are really just a fun kind of a ornament to make, so don't worry about perfection, but overall I am trying to smooth out most of the surfaces. Now this next part is not necessarily, but I actually added the clay ornaments to an oven. I just actually put it on 200 degrees. I baked them for about 20 minutes just to make them extra hard, extra quick, so I didn't have to wait for the full 48 to 72 hours for them to dry. Next, I'm gonna take some white acrylic paint, put that into my palette, and I'm gonna be painting all the surfaces with the paint. You might want gloves for this, as I later found out how messy it was on my hands. Take a flat paintbrush that's somewhat large, maybe 1 to 2 inches, and I'm just gonna be painting all of them front and back, which can take a while, front and back with the white paint. And I just started on the front. I'm just painting them with the white paint. After they were all done on the fronts, I actually blow dried them for just a minute so that they would dry a little quicker. And then I ended up flipping them and doing the backs as well. Overall, I really think that the white paint gives it a fresh, clean look. It's gonna look pretty on the tree. It's gonna have contrast against the green of the tree, and it's gonna look great. Hey friends, I'm really excited to tell you about a new exclusive artist membership community that I'm gonna be launching in January 2025. It's called Dwell Creative Studios. Whether you're an experienced artist or a beginner artist, there's gonna be a little bit of something for everybody. This is gonna be a really fun community where we're going to be having a lot of video tutorials, live workshops, Zoom calls, art challenges, Q&As, and much, much more. There's gonna be art for something for everybody to do every single week. And it's gonna help you grow at yourself as an artist, have some accountability, have encouragement from other artists, and build a community together. This is gonna be a faith-based place where we're going to have scripture-inspired artwork every month. We're going to be diving into scripture together. We're going to be art journaling and much, much more. So if you're interested in learning more about this new community, make sure to follow me over the next month. I'm going to be releasing more information about Dwell and everything that it has to offer. But if you like the video today, that's going to be just a little bit of a taste of more to come for our artist community. Okay, so for this next step, we're going to take a little bit of tacky glue, whatever glue you have on hand, add it to a touch of water in a cup. Now this is going to be almost like a decoupage, if you've ever done that before with tissue paper, where you need to get the surface to be a little bit tacky before you add your paper or whatever you're wanting to put on top of it. So I'm just going to mix this up really good in the cup, and I'm going to paint it onto the surface of each of the botanical leaf impressions. I really recommend doing this one by one. So just have your paintbrush going for this specific cup, and you're going to start painting it and then adding the gold leaf one by one on each ornament. Okay, now comes the part where we use the gold leaf. So like I said, we're doing these one by one for each ornament. I painted the glue into the impressions. Now I'm grabbing my gold leaf. You can use tweezers or something like that to get it out of the container. These are really just gold flakes. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It was pretty cheap. I'm maybe $4 or something like that for the whole thing of gold flakes. So, or you can use real gold leaf if you choose. I'm just working them into each of the impressions and I'm rubbing them. You can use your finger, you can even use a paintbrush. Later I found that the paintbrush kind of worked a little bit better to get it down into the crevices. So you're just gonna fill all the crevices of each of the ornaments. Then you can even brush the tops again with the glue to kind of hold them in there a little bit better. I think that it's going to create kind of a, if you've ever done decoupage, where you're putting the glue down first, then the tissue, then the glue again on top, and it creates the hardening effect and helps it to be glued down properly. That's kind of what we're trying to do here. Okay, for this part, we're actually going to varnish the front. I really didn't varnish the back, although you probably could. I'm using a matte varnish here. Give it a good shake, and I'm just gonna squirt it directly onto each one. You can put it on a tray if you choose. You're gonna need a new paintbrush for this that's perfectly clean and flat, maybe a 2-inch brush. This is just a brush I had in a pack. And I'm just gonna brush it across the surface of each one. Your brush should be dry so that there's no water watering it down. And this step just kind of secures everything on there. It's gonna help it all kind of come together, adhere. If you wanted to put a gloss varnish, that would add a layer of glossiness to it as well. So just kind of choose what you think is better. This only takes a couple of minutes, and I'm gonna brush it on top of them all. Here I am doing my artist signature on the back of each one with a gold paint marker. Now, if you don't want to do a signature, another really great idea would be to put a word on the back, maybe joy, peace, something like that, maybe a scripture, really anything of your choice. You could add designs with the gold marker as well. You can get really creative, but I think the gold marker is a nice touch. For this part, you're going to want to have some large wooden beads with a large hole and some twine. You're going to cut a piece of twine that's about 8 to 10 inches long. You're going to need your wooden bead, and you're going to be doubling your twine in half. You're going to fold it in half basically, and then that double part is going to go through the hole inside the ornament. If you can watch closely here, I'm just sticking it through. You might need a little help from this tool just to get it through that hole. It was a little sticky. And so you kind of pull it through, and then you're going to put it through the inside of that double area, and then pull it tightly so it creates a bit of a knot at the base of the ornament. And then you're going to grab your wooden ornament, your wooden bead, and just thread that through. And then towards the very top, I'm going to try a double knot. That's just going to keep everything secure. It's going to create a large loop that you can then hang on your tree, and it should hang very nicely with that and easily with a large loop. And so there you have it. I hope you guys liked that. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just cutting a little bit of the fringe off the edge there, make sure they're even. I think they turned out so cute. I love it. They look so fresh and clean and colorful. Here's my little glittery tree. I'm just testing it on, but I love the gold glittery effect of these.